Illinois at Washington. Washington just coming off a loss against Michigan where they got it handed to him. And Jed Fish said that he didn't have his guys well enough prepared for that game. And so they're kind of going back to the drawing board a little bit this week. Damon Williams threw 3 interceptions. Washington is favored by 4.5. The over-under in this one also set at 54.5. Illinois coming off a bye. I think this is like the third team coming off a bye that is facing Washington. I think Maryland was coming off a bye. Rutgers might have been coming off a bye, I think. If there's a Washington fan out there, I know they know this because they've been talking about it on their boards a lot. But
Yep.
yeah, this is like
Ohio
Ohio
State came
State
off a
was coming
bye.
off a bye. Yes, yes, exactly. So this is like their fourth or fifth team that's coming off a bye this season to play them, which is really, really unfortunate for Washington. And unfortunate for Washington because they just played one of the most physical teams in the Big Ten. Although they didn't look like it against USC, they definitely looked like it against Washington. Washington did have their left tackle go down in that game. And their next left tackle, that was their backup. So they were on their third string left tackle against Michigan. They really, really need for their left tackle, Carver Willis, to come back. They also need John Mills. It's going to be a key for me in this one. And unfortunately, they did lose their tight end, Cade Eldridge. He is out for the season in this
Oof.
one, but Quentin Moore should be back. Jed Fish said that it was really scary what happened to Quentin Moore last game, but turned out everything was fine and he's been back to practice. So, awesome to hear that. And he should be back in the game. Zach, what is your question about Illinois at Washington?
I think a lot of this is comes down to how does Luke Altmyer and the offense handle the raucous crowd and environment in Seattle? Because I think that is the maybe the thing that would derail Illinois the most is if there were a signal caller that is inexperienced and that can't handle an environment like that. I think Washington has the edge in this game as they should. Altmaier is a fifth year guy, really, really good player. We've sang his praises almost all season long. And I think at that point, it becomes a bit of a coin flip because you're talking about a young gunslinger in Damon Williams with a really good core of receivers, with a running game that's been kind of so-so, versus Illinois, who has an experienced, really good signal caller with a really good group of receivers and a so-so running game. So I think it's a pretty even matchup. The question is, does Luke Altmaier, how does he handle the crowd? I tend to think he will do well, but that is my main question.
Well, yeah, and there's just question marks about the offense overall, right? Even if this
Mhm.
wasn't at Washington, you got Khalil Valentine who went out the last game against Ohio State. He got injured. It's really good for Illinois that they are coming off a bye in this one because they got pretty beat up in that game. Caden Fagan, I believe, went down in that one as well. So if it was played next week, they may have only had Aiden Lawfrey back in that one. So it's going to be really important what Washington does with obviously their secondary to be able to go up against guys like Hank Beatty, Colin Dixon in this one, but also too you're going to need a good linebacker play as well. You could see a good game from Cole Rusk here for
Mm.
Illinois. Washington did not do a very good job of covering like the backup tight end for Michigan. They did not have Marlon Klein. I don't believe they had their second string tight end in that game either. But Michigan keeps finding these tight ends, and Washington wasn't really able to cover them, and that was a huge piece of that game. My question for this game is going to be: will Jed Fish get Jonah Coleman in better situations to make bigger plays? I think this is one of the biggest talking points of Washington right now. I think everybody is talking about Damon Williams, that he didn't run enough. He only had 3 design runs last game. But guys, Damon Williams is 19 years old. This is going to be his 10th start of his career. We can't keep putting everything on Damon Williams. He needs support. And right now, you're not getting support from Jonah Coleman. And I don't think it's necessarily Jonah Coleman's fault. The offensive line has not been good. And your two best run blockers on this offensive line for Washington were Carver Willis and John Mills, the left side of your offensive line. They both went down. Neither of them played against Michigan. Now, it didn't really matter against Rutgers because Rutgers defensive line. Sorry, Rutgers fans, it's not very good. But in this one, you really need to be able to go against this Illinois defensive line, which is good. It's not Ohio State level, I don't think, but they have really good pieces on this defensive line. And if they're going to want to be able to help Damon Williams out so that the entire game is not on his shoulders, they have to get Jonah Coleman running. Zach, do you know how many 10-plus yard runs Jonah Coleman has in the month of October?
I feel like it's like 2.
One. He has one 10-yard plus run in the month of
That's
October.
not
And
good.
yeah, it was against Rutgers. He had one against Rutgers. I have not looked up the stats, but I'm going to guess a whole lot more running backs have had more than one 10-plus yard run against Rutgers. Coleman is still playing well. He's picking up first downs. He's doing a good job in goal line situations and like short yard situations. But in order to allow Damon Williams to have space to be able to do things and not just let teams contain him, Jonah Coleman has to be explosive. He has to hurt teams more. And it starts with the offensive line, in my opinion, but you also need to be creative to get Jonah Coleman the ball. Carver Willis has to be back for this game. John Mills has to be back in this game. You cannot go into this game with a third string left tackle. Otherwise, Illinois is going to eat them alive, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
So, all right. Well, what's your score prediction, Zach?
I think it really hurts Washington that they don't have a bye. And they got beat up against Michigan. Illinois did get a bye. I know it's in Seattle, and I know Illini fans will not like me picking them to win this game because of my track record. Although I've been pretty good this year in picking Illinois games. I'm picking Illinois to get the mild upset. I think it'll be high scoring, but I've got 31-27 Illinois.
Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm right there with you, Zach. I have Illinois winning this one as well, 27-24. I have them covering. I'm going to take the under in this one. Jedd Fisch in his press conference, he talked about and he discussed the difficulties of managing substitutions. Oh, that's a terrible thing to talk about before you play Brett Bielema.
Guess what Brett's gonna do?
I would not be surprised at all if this is one of those games where Brett Bielema just has Jedd Fisch. I don't think Jedd Fisch is going to go crazy like Shane Beamer did, but I would not be surprised at all if this is one of those games where Jedd Fisch kind of just struggles with the substitutions and maybe they don't get the right guys in there a few times. Again, it's not necessarily on Jedd Fisch. It's just Brett Bielema's that good at it. He does such a phenomenal job of getting his guys to go right up to that edge of, you're getting off, but you're also not getting off in time for the team to be able to run a play or to have enough time to make their not substitutions, their changes and stuff at the line of scrimmage. So and he also said that he's still getting used to the Big Ten. It's year 2, and he's still getting used to the Big Ten because he said before when he was at Arizona, when he was playing on the West Coast, they were used to playing 75, 80 plays in a single game. Now, he said there's games where they are playing less than 60 plays in a game, and it's really messing with him, and it's really messing with his team because they are such a high-powered offense, and they do want to get out there and run and, play so many snaps and do all that stuff. And so it's going to be interesting. I like the advantage in the coaching matchup here, Brett Bielema. I like the advantage of Illinois' offense over Washington's defense. I think Washington's offense is going to be better than Illinois' defense, but not by enough for them to be able to win this one. So I got Illinois.
Good pick.
All right, let's see what other people are saying. Doc is saying Washington. Philip says Illinois 35-20. Oh, I'm sorry. Doc said Washington 28-24. Our face is Illinois 30, Washington 27. Hello Dog says take Illinois and the points. Line above us says I saw something scary that Washington had won 22 straight games at home until Ohio State this year. Yeah, I mean it's completely valid to be worried about the home field advantage for Washington. It's a really good home field advantage. So, Philip says is Fisch distracted by job openings? I don't know, Zach. Do you think a whole bunch of jobs are going to come after him?
Move along. No, I
don't think Florida's going to come after him.
No, but
because they just kind of had the Billy Napier experience with calling plays. I don't think they wanted to bring another play caller in.
Yeah, I don't think Florida will. I think there are probably a few bigger jobs that he could end up getting just because I don't think there's going to be enough great potential hires. Um, so I wouldn't be shocked if he left. I wouldn't be shocked if he stayed.
I lean to him staying. I don't lean to him staying because I think that he would just say no to every other job out there. I don't think there's much of an appetite for play calling head coaches right now.
No, no. Well, I mean,
I think
they're starting to go after Sark for that.
yeah. Oh yeah. And I said it on the last episode. I said I mean I don't know if you agree with this or not, Zach. I don't think a play calling head coach will ever again, unless the Big Ten changes a whole bunch, I don't think they will ever again win the Big Ten.
Yep. Well, I
There's
mean,
too much parity. It's too good of a conference now. The and how much you have to be a good coach with how many good coaches there are in the conference. I'm not saying you can't be a good coach. You're just distracted with play calling, so you can't make every single decision you need to make. Sorry, I cut you off.
well, and I think it's because the game has changed so much. You have to be more of a CEO. I mean, that's what Ryan Day learned just this past year in hiring Chip Kelly. You can't just be focused on the offense. You have to be focused on the whole team. And like I like Jed Fish. I think there are things I don't like about him, and one of them is the fact that he's still calling his own plays.
Yeah, and I would love to say that everybody just needs to copy what Ryan Day did, but you know who everybody actually needs to copy because Ryan Day copied him first. Eli
Who is that?
Drinkowitz.
Eli. That's right.
Remember they went to that
Who
bowl game and Eli Drinkowitz got up there and started talking about how good it's been for his team and everything else, and then right after that Missouri game, Ryan Day.
I that's who I want Penn State to get is
Yeah,
Eli Drinkowitz. I
that would
think he's
be
the one hire that I think I would be like, that would be good. That would be worth firing James Franklin for.
maybe. I think there's a couple other guys too. I would still take Matt Rule. Alumni.
I
He knows that place. I think we're gonna see a like an influx of alumni being hired by places because you look at Jeff Brom, he's not going anywhere. You look at Clark Lee, he's not going anywhere. Like there's so many alumni right now that are working
Mhm.
at their school, and I think coaches like schools just want to hang on to their coaches right now so much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on Matt Rule, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
just I just want to point out we have a DK sighting.
We were just saying we need a DK back in the chat.
Yeah. What is this football game you speak of? And then
He's not happy with my Illini shirt in the background. That's
he's
okay.
not, but that's all right because he sees this and
Yes,
he
he
is.
sees the scruff.
No, I was gonna say well, it's not. It's mostly clean shaven.
Oh,
Mostly.
gotcha.
Yeah, I probably missed a few,
Oh, no,
but
you're good.
yeah, we miss you, DK.
Thanks, DK. We'll have you on an episode here soon, man. Last thing I'll bring up, John Mandock says Illinois needs this game if they're going to try to make the playoffs because it would be their third loss in the league. Teams are going to have to keep up with Michigan. They only have one loss. Well, Michigan has two losses. They lost to Oklahoma and USC. But I do think that right now there is a race to see who can only finish with two losses, right? USC, Michigan, Illinois, Washington. One of those teams is going to lose this weekend between Illinois and Washington. So, as much as Illinois needs it, I think Washington needs it as well if they want hopes to make the playoffs. I think if Illinois does get it, I mean, they have a really good shot at making the playoffs because their final games are Rutgers, Maryland, at Wisconsin,
Oof,
and then Northwestern.
oof.
So, I mean, all four of those are very winnable.
Mm-hmm.
I guess not Northwestern. Northwestern's better, but
And
still.
Northwestern's getting good.
Yeah. So, Dylan's rooting for Louisville.
Mm.
No surprise there. Jeff Brom